Hi everyone, how are you all doing? Hope everyone's well. Welcome in everybody. Everybody okay? Hello, who's in here? Very slow. I just gotta give this a few minutes to pick up or something. Apparently there's some people watching now. Say hello if you're watching, people. Hit the like button, everybody. Thank you. Thank you for the like. Hello, Godzilla. How you doing? JB. Oh yeah. Hello, David Kendall. How are you today? Hope you're well. Welcome in, everybody. So I was watching some of this video about like somebody who'd like turned his life around from like drugs and stuff to then becoming some calisthenics champion. Hello, Hillbilly John. How you doing? Hope you're well today. So it's good to watch videos like that. I quite like those kind of motivational, inspirational kind of videos and stuff that it just gets you fired up, doesn't it? Like that people they overcome all the adversity and all the struggles that they have in life, and there you go. There's your smile. So like when people have certain things, but they just decide to kind of just not let it stop them and whatever. It's like that they're going to that there's this mindset, isn't it? And it's this mindset that you have to have that one life, and we just have this one life that we have to just kind of make the most of it. Any time that you waste just doing a bunch of bullshit, then that you're not ever going to get that back, are you? Hello, game over, Jesse. All right, how are you doing? You got a tick. Hello, kangaroo kids. How you doing? What do you mean E4? What does that mean? As you saying, pawn to E4. 107,000 subs. Anyway, what's that? Rude people on here. I know there is a lot. Kangaroo Kid says wise words. Chess move. What's a chess move? Hello, Ismal420. Favorite animal? I don't know. Good question. Hello, Jesse of the WWL20. So Jess of. I was getting confused because there's someone called Jesse and they've got Jess. What starting move? What are you talking about? Yeah. Anyway, I'm kind of like lost. Hello, Hazel. I'm kind of lost here. Hello, Batu Myers. Favorite color? I don't know. I mean, probably like blue or red or something. I don't know. I don't really have a favorite color. But yeah. I hope you're all having a good day so far. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. Hello, Atreos. How come? Hello, good story as well. Maybe you should just kind of like stop telling yourself that you're weak and then just kind of, because you got to be careful what you tell yourself, is what I'd say. Good stories from the UK. Where are you from? I'm not colorblind, no. No, I'm not colorblind. Oh, wait, Jess Pudley. What's that? I don't know what that is. Hello, Mina. Good to see you again. How are you? Kind of music. I like a lot of stuff, but yeah, I quite like some more like underground type of music. Like I said, I was listening to some like things like Death Grips. Well, they're not that underground, but they are kind of a bit obscure. It's like a obscure hip hop kind of group. But yes, I mean, I like to try new things when it comes to music and things. Hello, Heinz, how you doing? Yeah, Death Grips. Yeah, I didn't know you know them, but they're a bit different, aren't they? I mean, I was showing someone that was like this rapper kind of guy, and he was like saying, wasn't expecting that. What do you mean, good stories? Which one's your favorite from Death Grips? I remember I was showing that song called No Love, and then someone said that they didn't like there's this kind of like screechy bit in the song, if you remember a bit which bit I'm talking about, but I think that's kind of cool. It creates a sort of dissonance in the song. It kind of like, yeah, but not everyone likes that kind of harsh kind of like contrast of sounds and stuff. But yeah, philosophy on life, good question. I mean, like, I think I would say just sort of I don't know. I can't really say right now. I mean, I'd have to think about that. I mean, because you just kind of like when people just kind of put me on the spot, really. I mean, you talk about philosophy on life. I mean, as in like what we're talking about in terms of philosophy on life. Are we talking about religion, or are we talking about? I mean, what do you mean? Like, maybe I was thinking that we could all just be one consciousness. Who knows? Because none of us can really prove that anybody else has like their own individual consciousness. So I could argue that maybe there is only one soul in the universe. If that's the case, then we're never truly we are alone, but we're not alone at the same time, kind of thing. Because what is the I am and all that? Solipsism is the creepiest. I mean, you could argue that my thoughts are kind of along the similar lines of solipsism, but instead of seeing everybody else as just some kind of background character, rather that they are all just kind of part of the like, as in like they're all basically the infinite number of different lives that we can live, basically. And is how I see it, as then when you see somebody else in your life, that could be you in another life or something. Hello, Pat Wildebeest. Oh, really? What's good? Hello, Roger. How you doing? Hope you're well today. But it's just none of us really know what's going on, if we're being honest, I would say. What we're talking, I'm talking about consciousness and other things like that. But I don't know what Tom Aspinall's like. Seemed like a unit. What do you mean? Are you on about, like, I built some muscles and stuff? Quantum style, oh yeah. There's that whole thing of quantum jumping and all that. I mean, loneliest, but that's a good way you put it. Yeah, the law of one, yeah, because maybe we're not, like, separate. That maybe you could argue makes you feel less lonely, because even if you feel like you're by yourself, you're never truly by yourself, because you are interconnected into the universal consciousness. And that might sound really, yeah, quantum leaping. Yeah. How you doing anyway, Lex? What you speak? I'm just on about, like, different, sort of theories on life and consciousness. Boltzmann brain. I've heard about that. Boltzmann brain. Yeah, but I can't remember exactly what it was, but I was looking into that. I'm doing fine, thank you. Sarita, don't think so. Let's have a look. Boltzmann brain. Just kind of recap on that. Yeah, butterfly effect. All right. I mean, maybe we should not be saying that in here. It's just we've got to just, like, be careful what we're saying in here, because I mean. So basically, it says about a hypothetical self-aware entity that spontaneously emerges from thermodynamic chaos, thermal equilibrium, with false memories of a lived life, named after physicist Ludwig Boltzmann. This thought experiment argues that in an infinitely old universe, it is statistically more likely for a single fleeting brain to form randomly than for an entire universe to evolve. So basically, this idea that, does that mean that basically the Big Bang never happened because yeah, you're right. Anyone can say anything, but on your own platform, if you're going to come in here and try and be a dick, yeah, it's just, then we can just get rid of it. I have the freedom to get rid of it, but people can talk what they want on their own platform. Anyway, oh, thank you. Okay. Yeah, I hope you're all having a good day. Hit that like button, thank you. Stay tuned, hello. Hang on. Weren't you one of those trolls? Hello, Deji. Big Bang is just a relativity thing, in my opinion. It's just hard to comprehend. What you mean, a relativity thing? Like, could you explain a bit more about that? Because I would say, if there was nobody around to witness it, did it even happen? Because some say about how people need to witness it in order for it to have happened, or something like that. Like, you could argue you can see the effects, but then we're just kind of extrapolating on something that we haven't witnessed. Just go away with your negativity. Hello, what's this? Rav Singh, how you doing? What's the time? It's 12:26. Yeah, 12:26 p.m. Hello, Tiger. Nothing much really. Nothing much really. Just yeah. Anyway. Hello, Amy, Darren, how you doing? What you mean? Why be careful speaking on consciousness? Who said I'm careful speaking on consciousness? What are you talking about? I'm good. That's good to hear. Where are you from, by the way? Anyway, nice to meet you. No, I don't live in America. I live in the UK. Hi, Dion Melikai, is it? Sorry if I pronounced it wrong. Jesus loves you. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I live in York in the UK. Oh, this is draining today. I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, why do I even bother? Okay, take care then. Well, I thought it was Tiger. Hang on a second. I thought it was Tiger. Okay. I'm a Brit living in Germany, mate, but you almost said my name right. Thanks. Okay, no problem. I don't know. Hello, Margaret. Sorry, what are you saying? Bloemfontein. How are you? Sorry, I must have missed it. I don't know. No, it's an English accent. Hello, Dalton. How you doing? David says maybe AI plus quantum computers will get us closer to an answer. We only at the beginning of the tech age. Well, maybe that's not really the way to find out about something so kind of abstract. I don't know. People think that, like, for example, technology's led people to think that they can upload their consciousness into a computer. But I'd say, how the fuck are you supposed to be able to do that? Like, people thinking that you can just upload your consciousness into into something digital. I just think that's just ridiculous, to be honest. Oh, Amy Darren's from Virginia. Oh yeah, how's the weather like at the moment over there? Is it cold at the moment, or so it'll be winter for you as well? But the singularity is coming. We're already electrical. Nothing new under the sun. But well, yeah, you could say about electrical signals and whatever, but we're made of organic matter. Well, the body is anyway. Is it really possible to transfer your consciousness into something non-biological? I mean, is that even possible? You really think that's possible, or what's that? What you mean, Amy? Crusader says organic. Yeah. I don't know. It's I kind of see like consciousness and matter maybe as like as in one and the same thing, right? This is kind of how I'm going with it all. That maybe that matter is just a projection of consciousness. That without consciousness, nothing else would really exist. It's kind of how I'm seeing it. What discounts the soul? What are you talking about? No, I agree, because it discounts the soul. And about the idea of quantum, not quantum, I mean the whole idea that you can upload your consciousness into a computer. Like they're saying that like making out like consciousness is something that can be transferred or something. Like, is that really even possible? Ever? Let's have a look and see what it says on here. Could we ever consciousness, but it's like saying we lack the understanding of technology to map the brain's immense complexity, 86 billion neurons, trillions of connections, and its physical basis for subjective experience. Though concepts like mind uploading, digital transfer, or brain-computer interfaces, BCI, explore future possibilities, with some viewing copies as new entities rather than true transfers. It remains in the realm of science fiction. Religious, spiritual ideas of soul transmigration exist. Anyway, I've not seen Black Mirror now. Hello, Cheedo Dust. Okay, well, we're just gonna get rid of you then. Hello, enter. What are you saying? If your time up and I see... Okay. Just go away then. Maybe you should do something better with your time than... You know, maybe just mind your own business then. You know what I mean? You could always just put, do not recommend this channel if you really have to. You know what I mean? So you don't ever see my fucking channel. How about that? You know, you can always... There's a button that you can press that says, do not recommend. So, yeah. That's up to you, isn't it, really? Bigots from Swindon, says Zhang. Okay. Hope you're all having a good day today, everybody. Welcome in here. What's everybody up to? Okay, thank you, Sir George. I don't know, guys. This gets draining. Just sometimes you feel like you can't even have a proper conversation on here. So you get a bunch of idiots just... Oh, you just walk up. Where are you from? Yeah, it's been going alright, thank you. Just, I don't know, just some of these comments can just be absolutely draining, and sometimes I'm thinking, like, why do I even bother? Anyway, it is what it is. What's the weather? It's just dull at the moment. It's just kind of cloudy and dull, so not the best. But there is this time of year where it's just a bit meh, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's still winter here in the UK, so... You're good, interested, obviously made breathe easy. Sorry to get intense, wishing you well. Okay, thank you. Hello, Margaret. Yeah, I don't play rugby. I'm not into sports. Hello, psychedelic. Oh, really? What the hell? Just go away. Hello, whoever's just joined. How are you doing today? Yeah, spring's not far off now, at least. Only a few weeks to go, and we'll be in spring, so that's good. Yeah. Then we've got hay fever to deal with, you know? No rest for the wicked, they say, isn't it? But yeah, I'm gonna have these like hay fever wipes that they basically take the pollen away, basically, and so like when you get pollen like in your, yeah, like that's kind of gets stuck in your nose or something, that it can prevent some of it from being breathed in or something. So it might help to reduce some of the symptoms. So talking about like pollen dust and pet allergens. Well, there's this theory that It has to do with the amount of like allergens that you get, like if you have a lot of, say, dust or any other particles that you don't like it too hot. Yeah, it can get a bit much, can't it? You can feel a bit exhausted, but I'm quite used to like, because when you're working out and stuff and you get yourself hot and stuff, then you sort of get used to it. But I remember in the summer it got a bit exhausting when trying to work out in the heat, but I managed to get myself through it. And yeah, you just just go out with less clothes and just kind of try to keep yourself cool. Keep drinking water and stuff. Hey, King William, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Thank you for the likes, everybody. Yeah. Welcome in, everyone. Nice to meet you all. Hi, Susie. How are you doing? Good to see you again. Hope all is well. We were talking about some idea last night about maybe getting some land and then renting it out to other people. What are your thoughts on that? For example, if I bought my own plot of land and then had other people use it either to camp on or to have a caravan pitched on it or something, because that way, you can generate some profit from the land. And one idea was to, like, if they would help grow food for you and stuff, that you could give them a discount or something like that. So that's like it could be like a business thing or something, and whatever. Sit up with all these people, I'm from the UK. Where are you from? Hope you're having a good day, everybody, anyway. Share this out if you can. Yeah, keep the chat flowing. So what are you up to today, Susie? You're up to much? Oh, Russia. Okay. Yeah, I'm just chilling at the moment. I was actually out running last night. Yeah. It's good to see I've not lost my cardiovascular fitness and stuff, but I actually think that, like, the way that I train actually counts as cardio. Because when I'm doing, say for example, if I'm doing my push-ups, then I follow it up by some squats, follow it up by some rows, for example, that's going to count as some cardio, I reckon. Because, I can get quite sweaty and quite, my heart rate gets up quite high doing that stuff. So, whereas unless you're doing, say, a thing where you, for example, do a few fucking bench press or whatever and then wait for fucking 3 to 5 minutes between a set, that's not really cardio then. But if you do it in a way that is high rep and more kind of just, you do a few reps, then you switch up, do another exercise for a few reps, and then you just have a little break but don't have too much of rest between each set, I think that actually will count as cardio. So yeah, so you can do like cardio whilst you're doing your weights or doing your calisthenics, as long as you keep your heart rate elevated. What is it with these people? Like, they keep coming back, and then maybe they should just kind of like press do not recommend. If they really don't like it, just, what is their goal with all that? What is their purpose to keep coming in here and be negative? Why don't you just try and spread some love instead of trying to spread hate everywhere? It'd do you a lot better, I think. I mean, I don't know like what kind of kick they get out of doing that, but they need to, maybe they need to kind of go seek some help or something, because they're out here trying to put others down, and they themselves, like, what are you doing with your life? Aren't you wasting your own time then doing that? Anyway, whatever, they'll do what they'll do. I know, fools, that's the thing, is they don't realise that they're just wasting their own life away, but anyway, I'm wasting by talking about them. Hello, Tragic Perception, how you doing? Hope you're doing well today. Welcome in here. Hello, Mr. Bug. No, I'm not, I'm from England. Hello, Connor Webb, how you doing today? Hope all is well, nice to meet you all. Share the live if you're new, and subscribe if you're new. Okay, here we go. Goodbye with the nonsense. But yeah, I'm trying to clean up the chat a bit better, and yeah, just trying to stop all these people from just causing chaos in the chat. What's that, David? And so it's what you're saying. I only speak one language. What's wrong with these people, Anyway, but they really have nothing better to do. It's kind of sad. They'll run out of accounts eventually, so yeah. Anyway, or they'll just get bored. Anyway, what are you all up to today, everybody? What are your plans for the rest of the day? Keep the chat flowing, everyone. We're at 14 in here, but who is everybody that's watching right now? Say hello if you're there. Okay. What is going on here? Alright. Have a drink. Alright. Yeah, hopefully they're going to stop doing it now. Like, they'll get bored eventually, so you just gotta... Yeah, 2 World Wars and 1 World Cup. England 2, what are you saying? Okay, whatever. Hello, Amber. Are you looking for love? I mean, not really. No, I've not got a new camera. I've had this one for a while. Tragic Perception says, what are you doing today? I'm just relaxing. Yeah, I'm just here trying to relax here, but it's just sometimes I feel tense with all these just annoying comments and stuff. I don't know, like, I just want to have peace and just kind of not have all these idiots. But I know people saying I should get mods and stuff. It's just, yeah, maybe I should just start adding a couple of mods soon. But it's just that people aren't here often enough to really kind of be relied upon to be mods. I don't know. Hello, Mitchell Wheeler. Yeah, I know. But yeah, it's just what you're saying, Kadu. Yeah, I don't know. It's just sometimes people can't always be here, so they might... I don't want people to feel pressured to, like, be here all the time to mod or anything. Because even if I give them mods, then it's like, I don't know if they would feel like they're... I don't know, but who are you talking about? Break up with her, then that's all you can do. What you're saying? Best place in Britain? That's subjective, really. What's on the agenda, James? I don't know, we're just kind of shooting the shit right now, I guess. Just see where things go. Hello, Bryce, how you doing? 2 or 3, then you can usually get at least 1 mod in each chat, I guess. I'll have to try and figure it out, really. Yeah, I might just, like... I mean, you've been coming for a while, so I mean, I might add you as one, just for the, to see, like, yeah, I'll just do standard moderator, and there you go. just don't block anybody. Just time out if they're. I don't want people blocking people. Otherwise, we'll have to remove it. Hello, Annie. How you doing? Hope you well today. So no blocking of people, because apparently blocking destroys the algorithm. So I'd rather that people don't block, just time out, is what I'd say. Yeah, I've heard that that does, yeah, fuck up the algorithm. Anyway, so just a warning, because yeah, time out unless otherwise, yeah, remove comments or time out, basically, yeah. So you got your what do you call it? You got your spanner. Some call them wrenches. Yeah. Anyway, let's just have a quick drink. Annie says, "Congrats, Susie." Oh yeah. Yeah. I bet you feel so special now, don't you? That you've got yourself a moderator status. But I don't tend to add people if they ask to be mods. That's pretty much a surefire way of me not giving you a mod. Like, I'd rather just give it to someone because I think that they should have it. But when people ask to be mods, then I'm like, then that causes me to kind of like go against that. So, yeah. Anyway, so what's everybody up to then? I'm a little bit kind of like, I don't know. I don't know if I'll be training later. I'll see what I feel like. Because, yeah, I was out doing a lot of stuff last night. I was doing a mixture of things. I was doing some running. I was doing some calisthenics stuff. Yeah. I actually might have been a bit stupid, but I did some leg training before going out running. Trust me to just like, yeah. Oh, hello, Stargazer. What are you saying? I mean, like, I didn't realize that you was like offended or anything. It just seemed to me that like you were just parroting a lot of stuff, and I don't know, that's just what it seemed like. I mean, it's just there's a lot of people that just kind of parrot like other people's stuff and treat it as gospel. Like that they will just like, I don't know, I'm not saying that you do that. But I did take on your advice on the, kind of dealing with the trolls and stuff, so I don't know, that's just what it kind of seemed a bit like. I mean, but I don't know. But it's just like when somebody, I mean, well, I suppose we all do it sometimes, but if we were just like recommending to like watch a bunch of somebody's work, but not like, sort of really, to be critical of it kind of thing. Yeah, you have to be critical when you're watching people's stuff because not everything that they say is probably going to be true. Or it might only be true in certain instances or something. Like, we have to keep an open mind and not just, I'm not saying that you're not doing that, it's just, all I'm saying is that, yeah, we have to be careful when, if we're recommending somebody that we also kind of like, yeah, anyway, but I'm just saying because all you seemed to do was agree with him. That's what I'm just saying that that's just what it seemed like. I'm not saying that's what it was. It just seemed that you were like, there's going to be people that I might agree with him on some things, but then disagree with him on other things. But I didn't realize that you was like offended at that or something, and I was wondering where you were and like why you weren't in the chat. Hello, Yogi. Good to see you. How you doing? Did you see my pull-up video where I was doing? It was like a partial typewriter. I do agree with what I shared. Yeah. Well, that's good then. As long as you're not like. Yeah. It's just I just see a lot of dogma as what it is, and it. Yeah. Because I've been into a lot of different things. It's like, for example, I was looking at this thing last night on this so-called structured water, for example, and easy water, and a lot of people parrot that kind of shit as some kind of miracle or something. But when you look into it, it's like it's probably not really going to make that much of a difference to your body. It's just there's a lot of just like bullshit online is all I'm saying. I'm not saying that your beliefs are bullshit. No, I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is that we have to just try and keep an open mind and just, yeah, that not everything that some guru says is necessarily going to be 100% reliable. Oh, you missed that one, did you? Oh, really? But yeah. It's just I like to play devil's advocate with things, you know. That's what the age of information, misinformation, yeah. I like to play devil's advocate because there's a lot of stuff out there that I feel like is just misleading and causes a lot of confusion and a lot of just like sometimes the people putting out stuff have good intentions and sometimes they don't have good intentions. Like there's people out there that are just making up bullshit. But it's like people promoting different diets and acting like that's gospel. You know what I mean? Like, because they hear some doctor saying, oh, carnivore diet is best or some bullshit. Like, so they just parrot that. They parrot the same talking points without actually really, you know, kind of keeping an open mind, basically. But, like I said, I'm not saying that you're doing that. It's just we have to be careful that we're not doing that. So, yeah, there's no malice behind it or anything. It's, yeah. I mean, that's fair enough, like, it's good if he's, you know, trying to encourage that. Just making sure that people aren't just believing in kind of fairy tales and stuff. But yeah. I mean, I was quite skeptical of that kind of stuff, but I'm trying to keep an open mind. Yeah, I don't want to be dogmatic with my beliefs. That I've always had quite a, you could say, more rational mind, if you will, in a lot of ways. But then sometimes I would open my mind up to other ideas as like a kind of, sometimes I'd go into thought experiments and things like that to kind of just expand my mind and see what I think is possible. And hello, God of War. No, can't do that. It's important to challenge our assumptions. There's a thing called the Socratic method where we challenge other people's assumptions and things, and like But maybe I was doing it I'll apologize for that if I was doing it in a way that was a bit kind of harsh. But I like to challenge people's assumptions, is what I do. I like to play devil's advocate and have people actually question their own assumptions on things, and because it's important that we, what some people would call, sharpen your tools, like, because if it still holds up after being challenged, then that means it's more more strong then, isn't it? But then if it gets challenged and then there's like some flaws in a certain belief system, then that shows signs of weakness in it. You're quite switched on, dude. What you're gonna do with that power? What power? What do you mean? Neutral face, yeah. I didn't say it was malice. I said it was insulting to assume, given the way you responded. I mean, you can take it that way if you want to. I mean, I don't know you. I don't know what you're about. All I can do is just take things on face value, and I apologize if I, kind of, was taking things on face value and just kind of seeing things differently to how they are. What do you think about... Okay, just get rid of that one as well. Being switched on is a massive power. In this day and age, what do you want to do with it? I mean, what can I do with it? I mean, what I was talking about, like the ability to manifest, but I think what I need to do is just set an example, really. But I still have work to do, I guess. Because I need to be somewhat... Hello, Oldham. How you doing? You alright? Especially as you have no idea in regards to the extent of my open-mindedness and study of a vast array of different belief systems. Yeah. Yeah, it's just that sometimes people will state something as though it's 100% proven fact, and it's like, I'm kind of like, unless I can experience that, I don't like people to just tell me something is a fact. I'd rather it be more of a sense of like, people plant a seed and kind of, if I decide to look into that, then that's on me then, rather than being spoon-fed or preached about something. It just, I don't know, like I don't want to preach my beliefs to people. I don't want to say that, oh, this kind of idea of, non-duality is real, because I don't know. I'm open-minded to, I change my mind all the time on things. How was I pissed off? What are you talking about? Were you saying that when I said it, I was just not in a good mood to begin with, so I kind of just took it out on you? Maybe, I don't know. I don't even remember, like, what was going on at the time, but... Hello, Mayor Hoffman. I was just dealing with a lot of the bullshit in the chat and stuff, but a lot of that was my own fault. I will accept that. It was just getting a bit overwhelming with all the nonsense. What do you mean, Mayor? It just gets draining when, yeah. I don't know. It just becomes not even fun anymore when you're Yeah. Anyway. Anyway. Yeah, I don't know what we're gonna talk about next then. Yeah, but hope everyone's well. David says YouTube streaming not meeting your expectations. I didn't say that. I'm just talking. Well, I mean, it's just a lot of the people can be draining and stuff. Thank you, Jay. But like I said, a lot of that's my own fault. Hello, Mango. Live streams show the basic IQ of the population is diabolical. Yeah, I think a lot of it comes down to what people even watch. It kind of exposes that if people are watching a lot of these dumbasses, then that shows that they are probably dumbasses themselves. Am I trying to say? It depends what I feel like. It's just, like I said, I was out doing some stuff last night, and yeah, I might do something later if I feel recovered enough. So that's why I offered Buck Ref so you can check it out for yourself. You don't have to take my assumptions, do your own study into the questions you're asking. Yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, you were saying, to be fair, that, you know, to like look at it yourself. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, you've never really been like that pushy with your beliefs and stuff. It was more just a kind of discussion, really. But yeah, they're trying to. I mean, it's just. Yeah, I think it's just that when people demonstrate belief and then kind of present it as though it's like a fact. It's just, for me, it's like people need to kind of like be specific about, say, like, you know, is this a proven fact or is this my subjective interpretation of things? I seem like a nihilist, apparently. Well, so what, whatever. Views on karma and reincarnation. I'm not really too sure about that necessarily. I mean, I think maybe reincarnation, but maybe it's. I'm kind of thinking, from my own understanding, what if we create our own karma? Because I was looking into that a while ago. That basically that when we when we're holding on to guilt and things like that, that maybe in a way that's a form of karma, but sometimes people hold on to negativity too much, and you have to learn to just kind of stop punishing yourself. Oftentimes it's us that punishes ourselves and not anybody else, you know? Even if everybody else had already forgiven you, but you'd still... So maybe we actually create our own karma. Yeah, there's a lot of trolls and stuff. It's just, yeah, but it looks like it's being taken care of. I will add a couple more at some point, but obviously you're in here at the moment, so you're doing a good enough job. But yeah. But I don't need to then, you know, look at all these nasty comments and stuff, and that'll just help me with my own kind of psyche, really. It's not really nice to have to keep seeing all these comments, is it, really? Yeah, they just keep on spamming and all that, so yeah. If they keep coming back, then just time them out for a whole day or something, because some of them will come back like a few minutes later because they have nothing better to do, so... Yeah, just get rid of that one as well. They just get crazy, yeah. If they just start getting ridiculous, then yeah, time them out for a whole day. But I think people should be given a chance to like redeem themselves. I do believe in that even if someone has fucked up, that they should be able to redeem themselves. karma is like a savings account of the back all the good and bad deeds are getting accumulated. The Hindus believe the good deeds leads to good karma, which lead into a life full of prosperity. But I don't know. I don't know what to believe really, because sometimes we do bad things, but we didn't necessarily have. I don't know. Maybe there were certain things that led us to do like bad things, as in, for example, our environment can shape how we be. Like, for example, if you grew up in around a lot of drugs and a lot of bullshit, do we then deserve to be punished for that? I mean, sometimes we get into the wrong things, not necessarily by our own fault. It's just the environment that we grew up in. And I don't know. I kind of see karma as just this kind of thing that sometimes people do it to themselves. They punish themselves. They say, "Oh, I don't deserve anything. I don't deserve love. I don't deserve respect. I am a bad person." Because that, you could say that's their karma. But maybe it's about letting go of the regrets, and I mean, not the regret. Obviously, you can regret something, but you just let go of the attachment to that. Just letting go of the past. But yeah, is Stargazer still there? Yeah. Anyway, so thank you for joining me today. Anyway, we carry karmic accounts from past life as well. Until that gets zero, we will keep having reincarnation. But then I could argue, why should we be punished for something we did in another life? I don't really understand that. Like I can't even remember any past life, and somehow I'm carrying some kind of burden of karma. I don't know. It just doesn't sit right with me, that. I don't know. But personally, I mean, maybe it could be true, but it kind of seems a bit fucked up. That, oh, you did something in your past life, now you're having to face that in this life. Shouldn't each life just be a clean slate, a chance to redeem yourself and just... Well, like I said, there's a lot of times where we do bad things, and certain environments can lead to, bad outcomes, is what I'm saying. I don't know who that is. Ben Davies. I'm not saying that, like, people who do really bad things, that it's not their fault at all, but we have to try and learn to have some understanding for people who, why is it that they do the stuff that they do? Why do they do fucked up things? OMG mods, I've got one now. Yeah, I finally decided to get a mod. I did used to have a few mods, but I got rid of them all because I didn't really trust them, because somebody was banning people from my channel. And then later on I found out that loads of people had been banned. They couldn't comment. Loads of people come and said, "Oh, I've been banned from your account. I thought you'd ban me or something." It's like, no, I didn't. Someone else did it. So that's why I got rid of all the mods. You get some malicious ones out there, Yeah, I just said, like, if they, make sure that to not just, like, block people unless they get really, really nasty. But if they're just spamming the chat and just putting a bunch of nonsense, then just time them out. Because I don't want it to end up harming the channel or anything, but yeah. Because apparently if people keep blocking accounts, then YouTube can actually stop recommending it as much, I've heard. So, I don't know, that's just what I've heard anyway. Ash says the only thing that affects your soul is your surroundings since your childhood. Yeah. Well, they say that we are a product of all of the things that we've experienced in our life up to that point. We could say that we have a choice of what we experience, but some say not entirely. Some believe we don't really have true free will because everything's kind of, I don't know, it's one of those things, isn't it? Do we really have free will when there's all this chaos in this world it doesn't necessarily feel like we have really much control over our thoughts over things that we, like, for example, we would choose to do something out of fear that if we don't do it, then, so is that free will in that case? If fear and all these emotions dictate what we do, then what is free will then, ultimately? If we only have one choice based on fear and, you know what I mean, then there is no free will, you could argue. Because if the other option is not really something that we could get ourselves around to doing, then do we really have a choice? Well, I certainly don't like seeing nasty comments. That's why I spoke about it last time I was on, especially seeing the stress it causes. Yeah, it's not good, is it? Well, that's what it is start having healthy boundaries and stuff, isn't it? Then otherwise it's like self-inflicted then, isn't it? Like a lot of people self-inflict their own torture and their own stress. Not Bridlington. Bridlington's a bit shit to me. I don't know, like, I've never wanted to go there, really. I mean, Scarborough I've been, and Whitby, but Bridlington looks like there's not much there, and it's a bit harder to get to, I think, than Scarborough. I mean, Scarborough's not that great, but I mean, there is some nice bits in Scarborough, actually. You've got the castle and North Bay is quite nice. But yeah, the South Bay is where all the tourists are, and it's a bit, yeah. Like you get all these like, just a bunch of like beer-bellied people with like out on, like with their beer bellies out on the beach, just kind of like, you know what I mean? It's not, in my opinion, the best sight, is it? You have to believe in free will because God has created principles, but also has given freedom to write our destiny. But then you could argue that you could say we have two choices. We either say do one thing that would lead to a certain outcome and another thing that leads to another outcome. But what I'm saying is that we might be programmed to only go for one of those outcomes based on fear or just some kind of emotion that, like, we don't have control over who we're attracted to, for example. Like, people have there's things like pheromones and different things that affect how we are. So this is where I'm thinking that what if there is no free will, because then that kind of throws everything out the window in terms of, about having any kind of autonomy then, basically, because we're all a slave to our own machinery and all of our own kind of, I don't know. Yeah, Whitby's good. Yeah, it's a bit quieter than Scarborough. But yeah. Scarborough's, what's that, preferred South Beach? Oh, really? You're on about South Beach and where? Are you on about in Scarborough or in Whitby? You're talking about Whitby. Whitby has a bit of a beach on the other side, I remember. It has like a river and then like... Okay, thank you, Kay. Karma is not a punishment. There's always a lesson for soul growth. I mean, I've heard that theory before, that we have to just go through certain, like, think of it as going through certain kind of like scenes and whatever to kind of learn certain lessons. But then I'm thinking, like, is there really any soul growth if, like, we're just born with a clean slate every time we're reborn? That I don't remember a past life. Now, there's people who claim to have had past life recollection, but as far as I'm aware, we are born with a clean slate. Nothing gets transferred onto this brain, as far as I'm aware. Now, there's people that claim to be old souls and all that. Maybe they're just people who naturally have more, they're just a bit more switched on. Like, I don't know if there's any real proof of old souls and people who've had many lives before. Because what is the point of having to go through all of it to grow if we're always born with a clean slate every time? Then there is no growth, then it's just back to square one again. Northwest, oh yeah, I live in York, but I'm originally from Blackburn. Anyway, Scarborough has a more private beach near a place called Caton. Oh yeah, Caton. Oh, you're talking about Caton. There's Caton Bay, which is quieter. Yeah. If I remember, wasn't there, or was that Whitby? There was somewhere around there that there was a lot of fossils and stuff around some of those beaches. It might have been Caton, if I remember. Oh yeah, I've heard about that Lions. It's I don't know what to believe in. I mean, it's something that could be happening, but sometimes I feel like they put things out there just to kind of make people look a bit crazy. Even if it is true, it's like, you know, it's like if you start talking to people about achrome, whatever, you know, it's like, then people are going to be, well, that is some like crazy theory. So then they might be a bit skeptical of everything else that you talk about after that, you know what I mean? I don't know, it's just like the whole Epstein stuff is just, I think we should just be trying to like not really keep focused on all that really, because it's one of those things, isn't it? It's same with the achrome stuff. To me, it's like, if it's something that I can't do anything about and it isn't going to benefit us in any way, then why are we giving it energy? Why are we giving energy to like all these dark things? Now, some people say, oh, well, and light needs to be shone on it. But I feel like the more that we keep bringing attention to this stuff, the more that we just lower the vibration or whatever. I mean, if there is such a thing, as in like, what I mean is in that it just lowers the tone of things, and just, I'd rather talk more about how we can sort of like come together and create a better society. You know, like I was saying the other day about the idea of, I'm not saying about creating a commune necessarily or anything like that, because that has certain connotations to it. But talking about things like maybe like breakaway societies and stuff that are kind of independent of the state. I mean, someone even said that if you have enough money, you can actually buy, like, you can actually create your own micro state, basically. Like, you can claim that as your own sort of state or something like that. So maybe that's something that people need to look into. as a way to kind of, let's look into breakaway societies or something where we can create our own rules instead of having some authoritarian government decide how we're going to do things. So maybe something like, it's not an exercise bike, it's an actual bike. Anyway, but like, just saying that, let's talk about things like, breakaway societies and stuff like that, I don't know if it would be possible to, let's say, have our own nation or something. I'm not sure, like, how it would all work, but you just described democracy, which is what exists in the UK. I don't agree with that. The democracy does not exist in the UK. I mean, who here actually agrees with that? Does anyone here really agree that democracy exists in the UK? I mean, I think you have to be kind of brainwashed, to be honest with you, to think that democracy really exists in the UK. Oh yeah, vegan options in the UK. Not one single bit, exactly. No. I think that we have an illusion of democracy. We only have democracy up to the point of, like, the ballot boxes at the elections. But even then, it's like, Hello, AS. I mean, I don't know if they're trying to just be, I don't know what they're trying to do here with just British citizens elect MPs, you have freedom of speech, and you had direct democracy with the Brexit vote. I mean, I get what you're saying, but then we don't even have a proper Brexit, do we? This isn't the Brexit that people voted for. Like, for example, this country is still in something called the ECHR or something, which apparently until we come out of it, we're not really in a proper Brexit. There's still ties to the EU and all that, and from what I understand, and while it's like Brexit in name only kind of thing is what I'm saying. It's just yes, we might be technically out of the EU, but we're still in some ways influenced by the EU. So weighted vest, I think they could be a good idea. I might look into getting one, but how do they actually work? Does it have like metal inside it or something? I don't know, like, how do they weight these vests? Is it something that you have to add weight into it, or is it already fitted with weight inside it or something? Exactly, Nigel F is in the EU Parliament, really? I mean, I'd have to look into that, but you think to yourself, like, what really has changed for the better? I was talking about the other day about, for the average person, what has really changed for the better since the EU? Yeah. I mean, I don't see any sort of real change in a positive way. What we have is, it's harder to, like, leave the country now, which is not good if you want to actually leave the UK. That's what he was doing before Brexit. So what was the point? Soldiers are like, oh, really? So what he did is he just pivoted. So he was in EU Parliament, you're saying, and that I'll actually have a look into this, actually, and see if what you're saying is true. But, yeah. Now, you could say, well, you can vote at the MPs and stuff like that, but I mean, people have tried to get certain things through, and it's been difficult, to say the least. So, what's that? British people's lives improved measurably as a member of the EU after Brexit. Living standards have stagnated. Does this suggest anything to you? Um, hang on. What you mean? You're saying that? What you're saying here, like, British people's lives improved measurably as a member of the EU after Brexit. Living standard has stagnated. Does this suggest anything to you? So, I thought you were saying that like Brexit was a democratic thing or something. What do you mean? I don't understand like what you're saying. I'm ashamed of myself for eating half a ton of hummus. Oh, really? Yeah. Well, just maybe just take yourself out for a walk or something. And I don't know. Burn those calories off in no time. Hello, Bismarck. How you doing? Or just do a few burpees or something. That'll burn some of those calories off. Yeah. I don't know. I don't really understand what you're saying. That like, but yeah, basically that pre-Brexit living standards improved for 40 years. Post-Brexit living standards have stagnated. Brexit has been the common denominator. So you're saying that that's because of democracy that has led to that? So you're saying that you're against democracy? Is that what you're saying? I mean, I don't know like what you're saying. I don't know, but I don't really trust the EU either. But in terms of since Brexit, but you could say that it's not just Brexit, but all the other stuff like the quantitative easing has led to stagnation. Like since 2020, like there's been a lot of stagnation due to basically printing money out of thin air. So maybe that's been a part of it. I mean, is this what people voted for? Did people vote to, to basically destroy the economy for like 2 years? I mean, like, did they ask everybody, should we lock the country down? Did they ask everybody? Because, yeah, it shows that the UK has democracy, right? Even though it's gone terribly wrong, it was still carried out an example of democracy in the UK. Well, you could argue that maybe that Brexit was just never really intended to be done properly. I mean, let's have a look about hello Afmanut. That's what I mean. It's like, did we actually get Brexit truly? So I was just having a look at this thing called the European Convention on Human Rights, the ECHR. It's an international treaty from 1950, managed by the Council of Europe, not the EU. So it's not any. So is it not anything to do with the EU or something? They just say that the EU is required to join the ECHR. So, is there any sort of connection to the EU here that what does say about relationship with the EU law? So whether it's EU or not, it's like they reckon that we need to get out of the ECHR because you could say that has been blocking a lot of economic activity or something. I'm just saying if we got rid of a lot of the ties to certain organizations, whatever. Hello, Alex. How you doing? That's not true, though, is it? ECHR. I don't know. I'll have to look. Let's have a look. Yeah, it says, yes, the UK is a member of the European Convention on Human Rights. There you go. We are in it. So is the ECHR let's have a look. Whether it has any effect on Brexit is what I'm looking at. Let's have a look. But hello, Striker. Thank you. I'm alright, thank you. How you doing? It's domesticated in the Human Rights Act. What do you mean? What are you saying? But you just said that we're in the ECHR. So, I mean, I don't know like too much about all this stuff. I just remember my dad would tell me about this a while ago, about how like the Labour government doesn't want to leave the ECHR, saying that, oh, well, if we don't have the ECHR, then it's going to affect human rights. But then, well, why can't the government come up with their own human rights version or something like, you know what I mean? Or really, Baron 127 Sonic. Yeah. So people voted for Brexit, and then like this is what we get. I mean, you could say like it was like people were thinking that if they voted Brexit, then maybe there would be less of this, you know, unvetted migration, for example. But we don't have that. You know, like I don't think it's in a lot of the people's best interest to have all this unvetted migration happening. Like you've got all these people just coming in the dinghies and all that, getting put in hotels. Like there's somewhere in York that's got between 400 and 500 of them, all being paid for by the taxpayer. I mean, is this what the people voted for Brexit? You know what I mean? Because you could say if we did something about that, maybe, you know, we could put money into other projects and stuff that would benefit the people of this country more, rather than opening the floodgates, letting a bunch of random people in that we don't know what they're fucking capable of. You know? What's this? The government wouldn't hold themselves accountable, which is the purpose of the EU convention. What do you mean? Well, you're saying that the EU convention is about holding them accountable or something, or there's an internal army for when the civil unrest kicks off. Well, this is what people are saying, that they're all military-age men. You think to yourself, are they planning something here? Are they planning something big for some kind of civil war or something to kick off? Because I think if things continue to get any worse, something's going to happen. I don't know, but curiously, if the UK remained in the EU, it would be allowed to send asylum seekers back to the first country of arrival in the EU. So what we're saying is, so maybe what it is that, you know, maybe that, not that democracy doesn't work, but you could say that people have been gaslit. I think you could say is a problem. They're told that, oh, if we come out of the EU, then this is going to happen. That, oh, we're going to crack down on the asylum seekers a bit more. But nothing actually changed. If anything, things seem to get even worse since. Like, been hearing so many people crossing the border, and And I've been hearing about muggings going on and stuff, and even where I live, and there's been some reports of things going on. So you have to be very careful, especially at night time. Because I've been warned by my own family saying, be careful where you're going at night time because there's muggings and shit going on, you know? Like I said, old military age men, where the fuck are their families, you know? Oh, they're fleeing war-torn countries. Bull fucking shit. Why are they on their own then? Military age men. You know? Something ain't right here, is it? Yeah. I mean, I think that like the whole Israel-Palestine thing, the way I see it is they're both just as bad as each other. Like anyone that's committing atrocities are just like should be shamed for that. Like if you're, bombing innocent people, then we should not be trying to support that. And that's my take on it all anyway. Yes, Britain signed the EU Treaty for Human Rights, and when human rights have been broken by the government, as talked to the UN convention assist you to ensure the government follow protocol. I speak from experience on that. What's your experience on that then? Hello, Fergie. Hang on, all right. Too late. Hello, Asja Kids. What's they? So what you're saying that we should be in the ECHR, but it doesn't seem like the government gives a fuck about people's rights, does it? I mean, they could say about, Online Safety Act, but then it takes away people's right to privacy, for example, Like the government's talking about wanting to, look at people's texts and all sorts of stuff. I think this is all just about basically like thought policing and shit. That's what I think they're ultimately trying to do. It's just basically a primer for something to come, I bet. They're trying to take away your right to say anything at this point, is what it seems. Because someone could literally get arrested over a tweet or over some, private message at this point. It's just ridiculous. Even though they didn't actually, they called someone the F word, but they weren't even there at the time, and the person that they called it wasn't even homosexual. So how is that offensive? Someone said it because they were upset and they'd been abused and all that. It's just the system's fucked. Is this something that we voted for? Did we vote for this shit? Did we all vote for the Online Safety Act? It's them that brought that in, isn't it? I didn't vote for that. I don't think, did any of you vote for that? Did any of you vote for the Online Safety Act? At least the way that they're doing it anyway. Did any of you vote for all this, attacks on free speech? Did any of you vote for that? Be honest with me, did you vote for that? You voted for attacks on free speech, or I'm talking like, did you vote for the politicians to take away your right to freedom of speech? So, yeah, illusion of choice. You know what I mean? So I don't understand how this Alexander person can think that we have really a true democracy when they can just bring through, for example, they can bring through an emergency act without really getting people's permission. Then we're pretty much a tyranny then at that point. Because it kind of exposed the government as being tyrannical. 2020 was, I think, a big wake-up call for a lot of people. you voted right wing, but I just see it as left and right wing are two wings of the same bird. At this point, they're like just you've got Keir Starmer, you had Rishi Sunak. I mean, Rishi Sunak was the one that actually, well, basically when he was in, that's when the online safety bill got passed. So who actually voted for the online safety bill? I mean, they have their own committees and whatever, but a true democracy would involve everybody, I think, not just a select bunch of people who decide, how we live our lives. Burger King or McDonald's? I mean, neither really. Yeah, pantomime. Yeah, exactly. Play the left against the right. Yeah, it's all like I mean, some say it's like a Hegelian dialectic of just one side fucks up and then the other side has to then, create the solution. So one side causes a recession and then the other side brings in austerity or something, for example. I mean, I don't know. You're describing direct democracy. The problem with that is the average person doesn't have expertise in the running of a state. So what you mean direct democracy as in like that everybody has a say? But maybe I would say that why doesn't the education system have more things on economics and things like that and political sort of like policies? I mean, as in like, because we're taught all this bullshit at school, and so what you're saying is that people are not educated enough to be able to make choices. Why should we allow some authoritarian dictator decide for us? Doesn't ban opinions, it regulates platform systems. Illegal speech was already illegal. This is platform regulation, not censorship. I don't agree. I don't agree with you. You just sound like somebody who's very much kind of deep in the system. Like you're somebody who just kind of, I mean, like that somebody could literally go to jail just over a tweet or something. I mean, I don't know. It's just another way to like enforce censorship and anyway, free thought. Yeah. Hello, Gerald. We have freedom of expression, not free speech. Two very different things. Yeah. I mean, are you somebody that's not a supporter of free speech, or are you saying that, I mean, you could say that we don't really have freedom of expression if we don't have the ability to actually say exactly what we're thinking. Because if we're expressing what we're thinking, then it might mean that we say certain things that might be out of the Overton window, for example, and you're not allowed to say that. Like I sometimes I'm afraid that I might be crossing a line at times, and I have to try and it's fucked. I have to police my own thoughts on things. It's like we can't even call something a scam, without somebody maybe will, throw a lawsuit on you, Well, if you think something's a scam, you should be able to say it, right? I mean, if it's not a scam, then those people can then defend themselves and say, this person is talking shit because such and such. It's important to be able to have a back and forth dialogue and whatever, and just kind of, I think you should be able to like say what you want as long as
that person is able to defend themselves, and you know what I mean? Like, if they're going to throw a lawsuit on you for, like, quote unquote defaming them, then to me that's a sign that they feel threatened by that. Usually people feel threatened by things because they're not actually genuine. If you were really that genuine, would you really feel the need to throw a lawsuit on somebody because they're calling you out? You know what I mean? But I would argue that freedom of speech means that you should be able to say it without being kind of put in jail. Because if that stops someone from saying what they think, then is that freedom of speech? Then you could say I have the freedom to unalive somebody because, well, I can do that, but I face the consequences of it. Hello, Vic. How you doing? Fear of prosecution. Yeah, exactly. Freedom of speech in the UK is a qualified right, but has restrictions on hate speech and harassment. But then the problem is when you allow the government to dictate what is deemed as harassment and things like that. We have freedom of expression, not speech, not the same thing remotely. Can you explain that? Can you explain what you mean? Freedom of speech isn't freedom of concept. I just read that one out. Lone Wolf. Okay. Patrick, how's it going? It'd be hard to support free speech if the speech is negative, hateful, anti-Semitic, or rude. It's hate speech on that point, and it depends on who's scamming. If you call an Indian out, then no. I mean, well, the thing is, again, what do you define as anti-Semitic? Because even the word anti-Semitic is kind of a fallacy in of itself. Because a word Semite has to do with somebody from, a lot of Middle Easterns would be considered as Semites. So when you're calling somebody anti-Semitic, it's kind of like shows to me that someone's kind of doesn't know what they're talking about, because a Semite is aren't most Semites Arabs? And actually Palestinians are Semites. So the funny thing is that someone might be, say, like against Israel and then get called anti-Semitic. So even though most of Semites are actually Arabs, which I find kind of ironic that, yeah, but I digress. I mean, it's just that we can start to they're starting to broaden the definition of what anti-Semitic is. If someone's against Zionism and Israel, then they can be like shamed as being some kind of anti-Semite. Hello, Demian Gaming. The government doesn't set out what is or isn't right or wrong, the law does. What law? I mean, because they can just change the laws. They change the laws all the time. So yes, it is the government or whoever is above them that lobby them. Like they can get lobbied by corporate interests. So how the fuck do we have democracy when we have governments being lobbied by corporate donors? I mean, come on. Like, are we being for real here? I mean, who would benefit from that is the question. Benefit from what? Sorry. Being a Christian is a freedom of expression. Protesting is a freedom of expression, etc., not remotely free speech. If someone targeted a Christian for being a Christian, you infringe their HR, which is where it becomes a crime. I mean, if you're like out to like kind of, out to like witch hunt or try and, or if you're trying to like attack somebody and try and incite violence towards somebody, I agree with that. But when somebody is just, saying an opinion that they, then that is freedom of speech. That is, your right to have an opinion, even if that opinion is something quite extreme. As long as you're not trying to encourage others to go out and, either, unalive or maim somebody, then I don't see the problem. Because I'd say at that point, it's on anybody else at that point, It's not your responsibility. If somebody else decides to go and do something, then that's their responsibility. Unless you're trying to encourage, unless you're intentionally trying to encourage bad, then yeah. Who has been jailed for an opinion that isn't hate speech or harassment? I mean, wasn't there that thing where that woman got arrested when she got, beat up by some guy or something, that her ex, then she was talking to her so-called friend, apparently they'd fallen out or something, but she was like trying to confide in her or whatever, but she said a nasty word, but it was all just in the spur of the moment with her emotions and all that. But then would like dob them in and look what they said, But the thing is, you can't just go and arrest somebody without any kind of context. I believe this whole thing of innocent until proven guilty, unless you have the context of like, why is it that somebody said something? Because sometimes we say things in a spur of the moment, and that's something that we're only human, right? People get emotional sometimes, they get triggered. And this sometimes says some quite, out of character things. Should we, be like forced to feel like we're walking on eggshells all the time? I don't think so. Because that's what they're trying to like make us into, feeling like we're always walking on eggshells. Because if somebody like triggers you, and then you could say, well, you shouldn't be like that, but it's just sometimes if something really bad happens, then sometimes you might just come out with something that you might regret. Oh yeah, Julian Assange, I mean, look into the one-arm pull-up question mark. I mean, at some point, but I'm nowhere near the one-arm pull-up yet. Again, height is a factor for me, really. I've only just about got the hang of regular pull-ups. One-arm pull-ups are way off. The next one would be like archer pull-ups, would be the next progression. But yeah, try being over 100 kilograms and doing a one-arm pull-up. That would be very, very difficult to do. So yeah, I've never felt like I had to watch what I say. I criticize the government always, and I'm a strong opponent of King's sausage fingers and his parasitic family. Yeah. Still never had a chat at the door from the police. Well, it's just that you just don't know nowadays, do you? Something could be taken out of context and made to make you look bad. You just never know. Like, I mean, sometimes people would just say something out of character, and then that could be used against you and meant to make you look crazy. Because you won't say anything. Yeah. Hi, Keith. Not too bad, thank you. Yeah, they aren't the power anymore, yeah. But anyway, I might just restart the live, guys. I'm going to just start a new one. All right, I'll be back in a minute.